Miranda here with Alkali Creek Art. Just wanted to give you a quick update on Inktober days 1 through 7. Again, here's the prompt list, and this is day 1, which you saw in the last video if you saw that. I'll link it in the description below. The word was ring, and I sketched it with this pencil, which is a Pentel, and only used a micron for this one, I think. Day 2 was mindless, so I thought a road just going straight forever would be appropriate. And the thing I want to add in here is a hand driving the steering wheel, because right now I guess you can assume that the person's driving maybe at 6 or 7 o'clock, but it'd be really neat to see a hand right here. And I used the dip pen for that with this Sumi ink, and I noticed with those that it leaves a rough surface, so it's raised basically. It almost feels embossed, so it's kind of neat. Day 3 was bait, so all I could think of for bait that had to do with classic trucks was going fishing. So the license plate says fishing, and I put a net and obviously the fishing pole with a little bobber in there, and I remembered the guy driving this time, so that was kind of nice. And this was also the dip pen and the Sumi ink, so it also feels raised. And I had a really dirty piece of paper, sketch paper, that I debated tearing out and replacing, but it was actually really hard to get those 11 additional pages put in this sketchbook, so I just left it and figured it could be dirt on the truck or something like that. And you probably can't even see it in the video, so it's probably not a big deal. And then day 4 is freeze, so I used this reference photo here, and I wanted to leave this in here because it's kind of neat. I drew my photo and then I put this reference picture under it, and my lines in my drawing were only a little bit off, and I went ahead and left the photo under it and put my light box under it to do the words, because that's not something, they're kind of fancy and I'm not a letterer, so I used the tracing for those words on the side of the truck. And then for this one, I used quite a few additional supplies. So I used my favorite Copic multiliner. This is the brush one, micron. And then these are Prismacolor alcohol ink markers. And one is a lighter gray and the other is a darker gray. And you see those in this tire here and this one there. Day 5 was build, and I had to do this sketch really fast because I didn't have a lot of time, so I was just thinking, how can you say build with classic truck? And I figured just building one in the garage, restoring one would probably be the best you can do. And so this one is just a simple micron, again sketched in there really fast. And I know there's some things I don't like about the Toolbox, and it's so sketchy that it's a little bit messy, but I guess it works. Day 6 was Husky, and so I drew this little cartoon stylized Bronco without its cap on, and it's got a little roll bar and you can see the back seat, and I put the dog in the back, and I used this Copic marker, cool gray. There's a little bit of shading around this dog that is so subtle you probably won't see it, but it also used the cool gray for coloring in the wheels. And then I used these light and dark Prismacolor alcohol markers again. I used the Copic brush marker to fill in these bigger places here, and this line here, and this area. And then one thing I'd like to add to this one is somebody driving, because the dog, I guess the dog could be in there if maybe the person ran into the grocery store or the gas station or something, but it would be cool to have someone driving. Last day today is Enchanted. So all that kept coming into my mind was Cinderella and her magic pumpkin, and I know she didn't fly in that, or maybe she did, I don't remember, it's been too long since I've seen it. But so I looked up her magic pumpkin, and they had these little star-like things around her magic pumpkin. I thought, oh, perfect, because I didn't want to draw actual stars. Stars are really hard to draw and get them to look great, and I knew I was going to draw a lot of them, so I just used these little asterisk, elongated asterisk type things. And then this bird's going, what the heck are you doing flying in my airspace? License plate says fly, and then city and trees, so hopefully you will know that this is actually in the air flying because it's an Enchanted truck. And the only thing I used for these were these new Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens, and one's an extra small liner, a fine liner, there's a small one that I didn't grab, and the brush pen. So that's all I use for these. These are brand new to me. They came in a Smart Art box, which you'll see in a video I'll release later this week. And that concludes Inktober days 1 through 7.